Karnataka Member of Parliament, suspended JDS leader Prajwal Revanna was arrested today and sent to 6-day custody of the Special Investigation Team. He returned from Munich late last night after having dodged multiple attempts by authorities to bring him back to the country. Prajwal is facing multiple sexual assault charges in the state. He is India's third youngest member of Parliament and is seeking re-election from Hassan. He was taken into custody after he landed in Bengaluru more than a month after he fled the country after being embroiled in sexual abuse allegations. Prajwal comes from a highly influential political family in Karnataka, one that has seen a presence in all 4 houses of the legislature. He is the son of former Minister and MLA H.D. Revanna. He is the grandson of former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda, who is currently the Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament. He is also the nephew of former Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy. Prajwal's brother Suraj Revanna is a JDS MLC and a physician. Prajwal is JDS BJP alliance candidate from Hassan Lok Sabha constituency. Prajwal Revanna has abused his power as a politician to sexually abuse dozens of women. Not only did he commit the crime repeatedly, he even had the audacity to flee the country. That he is contesting the Lok Sabha elections and has chances of winning from Hassan once again is something that is undigestible. It once again shows the blatant misuse of power by a politician, their high-handedness, their assumption that they are above the law and can commit any crime and get away with it. Then be it raping women, mowing over innocents, slapping and beating people up, acting as if they are the gods of the constituencies and states that they win from. What should be done about such recurring acts of arrogance and fake sense of superiorism amongst these politicians? Our leaders are elected by the people to serve them, to work for their welfare, to use their hard-earned money to bring prosperity and development in their region. Instead, when our netas act like they are our gods, it is imperative to take charge of the situation, ensure justice is done to the victims. Let's start our conversation. I have with me Sanjay Sahai, former ADGP Karnataka. Mr. Sahai, an unfortunate incident that has taken place. And what is even more appalling is the fact that it is a politician. And a politician who is sitting member of parliament from Hassan in Karnataka. And he has once again fought the election from Hassan in Karnataka, and the likelihood of him winning this election is high. The probability is high. And at the time, after the election is gotten over, this is what comes to fore, where there are dozens of these videos of sexual abuse and obscenity that are brought in that bring Prajwal under the scanner. In a situation such as this, can the influence of our politicians, somebody who is so powerful and influential as Prajwal Revanna, influence our police forces into succumbing to the pressure and then doing what the politicians desire?
See, first and foremost, they have become gods because we have made them gods. And it is generally presumed that any elected representative is above even the senior most person in bureaucracy. And the nature of influence which you are talking about and which is being fanned out for the media also on a regular basis gives an impression that they can play around with anything and everything. And it is next to impossible to bring this case to a logical conclusion in an objective and empirical manner. Notwithstanding whatever is the general impression, if the SIT wants, and I presume and I believe that it wants, this can be made into a watertight case. This will be one of the very few cases where video forensics can itself be enough to close this case. What is important right now is whether we are dealing with the whole magnitude of the whole issue or the number of cases and the number of victims. 3 or 4 cases are there with the SIT. And if we go by 2986 videos, which we have been talking about for last more than a month, all this would add up to certainly much larger number of women. So the magnitude of the case is pretty bigger than what is already assigned to the SIT. 34 days of his not being in the country, it is very difficult to believe that he has not been in contact with anybody. And there has not been exchange of communication which might alter the face of this particular investigation. So it depends on the not the capability, but the grit and the determination to bring all these things, bring video forensics. There has been some issue with regarding women leaving Hassan, and these cases have not been registered. Yesterday, one gesture where the all women team, which arrested Prajwal Revanna, might be to give a feeler to the women who have still not come out and register their cases, and the government and the special investigation team is fully behind them. For me, as a professional police officer, having served as a professional police officer, this case can be made as a ideal case of investigation, which can be an example for all these people who have been breaking law with gay abandon, because it has been happening for a long time. I have even told yesterday that if you want to bring this whole gamut into the issue, it might even need a judicial commission. And also another area, which is, I think already some investigation has started with regard to the timing of the leak and the intention behind the leak. So it is a very, very complex thing, and an area which was a pocket borough of a very influential political family will certainly try its level best. And is 34 days, taking 34 days to come back, I think might be it's because some leniency was shown to him.
Okay. Cynthia, Stephen, now, I'm going to take this case specifically and then generalize it, because there have been so many instances of our politicians, of our netas who are in influential positions and abuse their power to the extent that is harmful for a citizen, for the locals. And that is something that is a question that we often ask. The public often ask our system, often ask our forces, that our political system, our police forces, that what is it that they are unable to do that is causing this kind of blatant abuse of power by these leaders. But in Prajwal Revanna's case, like Sanjay Sahai said, that there would have been all influence that would have been used by the political family. It is Deve Gowda, who was the former Prime Minister of our country, H.D. Kumaraswamy, former Chief Minister of our country. With all these links, you think had there not been media glare into the picture, and also in contrast the party that is in power currently, Congress, had it been Prajwal Revanna of the JDS who was aligned with the Congress for the Lok Sabha elections, perhaps such stringent and fast action would not have been taken against him. Perhaps this case would have been buried simply because it would not suit the political parties, the narrative that will play out in the media amongst the public.
That is true, but I feel that on the other hand, it is indeed an unfortunate situation where when the Congress government, which is in power, has not, I feel, done all it could have. For instance, when it was known that the videos were out in the public domain, they should have set a watch on what Prajwal Revanna would do, and they could have easily prevented his exit from the country. Clearly, there was some kind of lapse there, and as a result of that, everything else has followed. So definitely that is one area where the police could have been faster. Maybe they were completely distracted with the elections, and so they were unable to take, the action that was needed.
Okay. Saptabesh Shivana, this case has unfortunately taken a political turn where the Congress is blaming JDS and BJP, and you are seeing counter accusations by the BJP saying that why has there been such delayed action? Why have you not been able to bring back Prajwal Revanna? And BJP has also said that they are going to distance themselves from a culprit, from a convict, if the charges are proven to be true. Do you think this has reduced to politics? Is the only intention of the Congress to bring down the JDS and the BJP in wake of Prajwal Revanna fighting the election from Hassan and JDS being part of the NDA alliance in Karnataka? Or at this point in time, a sense of justice is what that needs to be pursued, because it is the lives and the reputation of dozens of women that is at stake.
It is only the justice for women, and it is only an effort to protect the dignity of these women that is of prime importance to the Congress government. Now, the opening remark that you made at the beginning of your show was on point, and I couldn't have said anything better. We are dealing with Prajwal Revanna, an alleged sexual predator who has probably orchestrated the world's largest sex scandal that involves thousands of women and hundreds of widows. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the government of Karnataka as well as the special investigation team who have nabbed him in the early hours of this morning. And a special thanks to the media, especially your channel, print, digital, and social media platforms, who have magnified this issue and intensified the issue to such an extent, thereby extending assistance to the state government in applying and amounting effective pressure on the central government, who very belatedly initiated action for cancellation of his diplomatic passport. Now, Prajwal Revanna was left with no other choice. He had to subject himself before the SIT. Now, mind you, he belongs to a very elite family of the Devegowda family, and the logic to my mind is very clear. On the April 26, 2024, it was under the instructions, coordination, protection, and cooperation of Mr. Devegowda as well as their alliance partner, the Bharatiya Janata Party, that Prajwal Revanna was, he escaped the country and he fled justice. And once the election is concluded, when the star campaigner or the self-styled godman has retreated back to his caves, Prajwal Revanna has very conveniently come back to the country. But the sad state of affairs is that he had the opportunity of isolation.
He left the country right the day after the election got over for Hassan.
Correct. On 26th of April, once the polling was concluded, he fled the country. He booked his ticket in the morning and he left on the 27th in the early hours. And the first FIR got registered on the 28th, mind you. And now the sad state of affairs is that he had the opportunity of isolation for over a month. He had the opportunity to destroy material evidence. He had opportunity to revive his body and mind. And he had the benefit of legal consultation with a battery of lawyers. Now, I am certain that he has come to Bangalore with a narrative, he has come with a rhetoric and a legal defense. It would certainly be difficult for the SIT to crack this nut. However, I repose optimum faith in the institutions of this country and the institution that is the court that has remanded him to a 6-day police custody. And, the SIT is also receiving consultation from senior advocates such as Professor Ravi Varma Kumar and Jayana Kothari, who are legal luminaries in the state of Karnataka. And their consultation is invaluable to the SIT to the extent that they're ensuring that all the procedures are being followed to the textbook. Okay. And that there are no technical loopholes that Prajwal can take undue advantage of later.
Savia, would you like to respond to what Shatabish has spoken about this alliance between the JDS and the BJP, and there could be a possibility, an allegation being put forth that it was under the protection of the political parties and the kind of clout the JDS and the Devegowda family has in the state of Karnataka and particularly in Hassan, that this escape from India to Munich was possible, and he could not be brought back 34 days till the entire time there was an Interpol red corner notice that was issued against him.
Megha, I'd like to respond to the Congress gentleman, but unfortunately, if I do that, we are going to get into what is called political bickering, because I can easily bring out the charges that were made by their current alliance partner, CPIM, in Kerala, against their chief minister, Umman Chandy, at that point of time, which was not too long ago,
completely
of the sexual exploitation case. But let's not get into that. There's a larger concern that we have right now, and that larger concern is the debate that we are having. The debate we are having is about a sexual predator in a position of power, a sexual predator that has used his position of power to violate the rights and the sanctity of women inside the state of Karnataka. And I see that as a citizen and as somebody belonging to the BJP, as a crime. Any crime against a woman, any crime committed against women, minors by people in position of power must not get any pacification from any political party or any government whatsoever. Now, you have political leaders in power who commit sexual crime. You have religious leaders in power who commit sexual crime. The larger context of this discussion is not what Congress thinks or what BJP thinks. The larger context of this discussion is a crime has been committed against women. There is a predator who's in power. There's a predator who, being a person in power, will utilize that power to ensure that he is protected.
Yeah.
The family undoubtedly will also do the same, because that is what is expected by people in power.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the question that Prajwal Revanna has at this point of time suspended from the party. Do you think more stringent action could have been taken, his expulsion, and keeping in mind that he is sitting member of parliament from Hassan? He has won with a large majority last time around as well. And if he ends up winning this time around as well, what is the action that the election commission can take against him?
My views are very clear, Megha. You know me for a long time, irrespective of my party affiliations. The point is, Prajwal Revanna is a sexual predator. And right now, investigations are going to prove all the allegations leveled against him. If those allegations stick and the court finds him guilty, a sexual predator like Revanna should be thrown out as a member of parliament immediately.
There are obscene videos that have been seen by all. They have gone viral. They are not just in police custody, but they can be viewed by you and I. So where does the doubt come on Prajwal Revanna's innocence? And that's why the question, why just suspend him? Why not go the whole mile and expel him from the party?
The issue is the process, Megha. Let's say, for example, let's take a case, with a religious leader that happened not a long time back, where it was Bishop Franco Mulakal who was charged with sodomizing and raping a nun. Did the Catholic Church throw Mulakal out of the church? The answer is no. They suspended him of his duties and allowed for the court to take
But why get tangled into the technicalities of the case?
Not the technicalities,
and also, Savio, when our police forces were incapable of bringing Prajwal Revanna back into the country, 34 long days passed. 34
is the police and the court.
Yeah, but Savio, 34 days passed and we were still not able to bring back Prajwal Revanna. And you yourself said, it is a powerful family. It is the JDS, it is the Gowdas, and they are going to use every effort, every tool in their kit to ensure that their family member is safeguarded. He is protected, and they must have already used it for that matter. So what are the chances right now that the justice prevails, that justice is done?
Megha, justice is such a beautiful thing in this country, We must not lose confidence in the power of justice. You have seen recently in the case that happened over the Porsche car incident in Mumbai, how 12 crore was paid by one family just to save that boy, that brat rather than a boy, who ran over two people in order to show their power. If in such a small case, power has been influenced, of course, in a case where there is political power, there's going to be influence. But the people of this country must not lose their faith as far as justice is concerned, because the court and the police are there to do their job.
Savio, stay on with me. Sanjay, your response. When we have this blatant disregard of our laws and rules, when power is so arrogant that you utilize it without any restraint, and issues and cases such as Prajwal Revanna's and this Pune Porsche case that comes out, and when then police can be bought off, MLAs and ministers can be bought off, what is the chance? Like, had media not picked it up, had the case not come on social media, I think there would have been no chance that justice would have been given, that truth would have come out.
I'll give you a situation. Lose faith in whom? Now, there is a political party, there is a political class, and this political class, whichever party it belongs to, runs all the governments in this country. So there's absolutely no government in this country which runs outside of a political party and elected representatives. And you have been narrating what we feel of our politicians and the way they have been projecting themselves or behaving themselves. And there is also no denying the fact that every single case becomes a political case in this country. To the extent to that even builders are trying and they are able to exert a nature of influence which can literally change the course of that particular case. Coming back to Prajwal Revanna's case, I think the biggest silver lining is the huge amount of digital evidence which is there in the public domain, which is certainly there with the special investigation team. And it will be next to impossible to hide any of these. And that is why I keep repeating over and over again that this gamut of this case, the magnitude of the case, and the intensity of this case has to be unraveled till the last victim, the last scene of offense, and the last evidence. That will basically give you a follow-up or a follow-through as to which way the criminal investigation will go. As it stands now, 6 days of custodial investigation, custodial interrogation of Prajwal Revanna will be able to give a very neat trajectory on the corroboration and contradiction with all the available evidence which has been gathered by the SIT. He can also be used to show the scenes of offense, the routes which he has taken, and any seizures if required thereof. Because the defense lawyer has already got into the act, and that is what he is being paid for. That the case was registered 4 years after the incident happened, or 4 years after the offense happened. Why it was registered 4 years later? What is the state of affairs in Hassan? All that we are aware of, we have been talking for last 34 days. It is also somebody has already told that this 34 days certainly wouldn't have been wasted in just holidaying in Germany. It has certainly been used for much other ulterior motives to play around in this case. So it depends on the capability and the grit of the special investigation team not to fall into any of these things. And there are sufficient and enough evidence which can bring Prajwal Revanna to book. So second is the timeline issue. And the third is to have the best battery of lawyers who can assist our prosecution and take it to the logical conclusion.
Okay, Cynthia, now what happens to the plight of the people? And like I said, this is not just a one-off incident that has taken place in our country. There have been several of such instances that continue to take place. And people have no control over how the politicians use their power, their money and their muscle to wriggle away out of such situations. Like I said, there have been a number of instances where politicians have killed locals, killed an innocent by mowing over their car or beating them up or raping a woman. And there are these cases a dime a dozen. In fact, there are instances where political leaders who have been accused of rape, of killing people, of corruption, still continue to be in the positions of power. Where is there a sense of justice in our country?
Yes, indeed, this is a very important question. And for many, many years, we have been always talking about the issue of impunity that follows when crimes are committed against the vulnerable. And particularly if they're committed by the powerful. And so therefore, definitely the question is one of my fellow participants, panelists, talks about the need for the public to have faith in the system, in the judiciary, in the police or whatever. But whatever faith you place in the judiciary or in the police, our system is completely subverted by it's not only the politicians, anyone who is in any position of power. For instance, in the Porsche case, where the boy's blood test was, fudged by taking the blood of somebody else, throwing away his blood sample and using someone.
Yes.
So even the doctors involved. So at every level, anyone who has to be a part of the system of justice has no respect for justice. And this has become a part of the norm in our country, where delivery of justice, access to justice, to anybody, this question of justice being blind, they do not take into account who the perpetrator is. All this is bunkum in our country, and especially in the case of women. There is a sense of trying to cover up rather than trying to give justice to women.
Right.
This is the reality.
Absolutely
I think
right.
at every level, the system just refuses to give access to justice for women, whether it is the prosecution, whether it is the defense, or whether it is a judge, at all levels, anyone who's collecting evidence, the police, seems to be a conspiracy to deny justice, particularly to the weak and vulnerable in this country.
Yeah.
And we are very much exercised by that kind of impunity.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.